Auzubillahi minash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I welcome you to this lecture of computer science from class 11th, and my topic is computer and its functions. Dear students, almost we all have seen computer either in our homes or in shops or at marketplaces, railway stations, airports, in offices, etc. So this is the device we are familiar with. Now let us see what actually computer means. The word computer means to compute. It is an electronic device which takes in some input, processes that input according to some specific commands and gives out some output. Or we can say it is an electronic device that consists of number of interrelated components which work together to convert data to information in a step-by-step manner. Dear students, it is an electronic device. It is an electronic device, which means it operates on electricity. It takes data and instructions as input. That means data and instructions are fed into the computer system, and this data and these instructions are processed under specific instructions. That is what type of instructions we have given to the system, and under those specific instructions this data is being processed, and after processing it gives us the result, or we can say it gives us the information, as we call it output. Dear students, now let us see this block diagram. Dear students, first of all I will tell you what block diagram actually is. Dear students, a block diagram is a type of diagram in which main components of the system are represented in the form of blocks, and the relationship between the blocks are represented by lines. Here we see we have input block, and then we have CPU, down we have memory block, and at the right we have output block. Now dear students, let us try to understand this. Basic functions, operations, or we can say working. Dear students, we know computer performs different operations, different functions. Those functions are: number one, it accepts data, that we call input. Number two, it processes that data, that is called processing. Number three, it produces result, that is called output. And number four, it stores result, that is called storage. Now let us see them one by one. Dear students, input. Input is a raw information or data or facts entered into a computer through input devices. It is a collection of letters, numbers, images, etc. It can also be a command, for example, shut down, or it can be an observation made by the system through sensors. Dear students, input is actually the raw information, data or facts that we enter into the computer system, or we can say that we feed into the computer system. Now the question is, we have mentioned here raw information, we have mentioned data. What raw information is? Dear students, let us take an example. If I will write Murtaza 12 boy, aged. These are facts I am writing. This is data I am writing, as it does not give us any sense. And if I write this in an organized fashion, I will write Murtuza is a boy who is aged 12 years, or I can write Murtuza aged 12 years is a boy. It gives us a sense. Same is the case here. We give raw information to the computer, and this information, it may be collection of letters, it may be numbers, it may be images, commands like I say shutdown. It can be also an observation. Let us take an example of light pen. When we drop that light pen on the icon on a computer screen, that light pen is not directly connected to the system, but our computer system observes the instructions provided by this light pen through sensors, and our system operates on those instructions. That is why when we click on the icon, it opens. Dear students, now we need some devices so that we can feed data and instructions into the system. Dear students, these devices are called input devices. We see keyboard, it is an input device. We enter data into the computer system. We see mouse, it is also an input device, pointing device, and input device also. It points towards the icon. Also we have light pen, also we have scanners. These are all input devices. With the help of these devices, we are able to enter data into the computer system. Dear students, now let us see processing. It is the operation on data as per given instructions. It is internal process of the computer system. CPU mainly handles the processing of the system. That is why CPU is referred to as the brain of the computer. It is also called the microprocessor. Dear students, processing. When we feed data into the computer system and we give instructions to the computer system to perform some tasks, the operations which are carried out inside the system, that is called processing. The operations on data, that data which we provide to the computer system as per the given instructions. That means the data is being processed as per the given instructions, the instructions we give to the system. And this processed data is the internal process of the computer system. It is the internal process, it is not the external process. It takes place inside the system, and CPU, central processing unit, handles all these operations, all this processing of the system. That is why CPU is referred to as the brain of the computer. Just like we have brain and our brain controls all our activities, in a similar fashion the CPU controls all the activities, all the operations inside the system. Dear students, CPU has the following components: ALU, control unit, and registers. Let us see now. ALU, it is that unit, arithmetic logic unit, that handles all the arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, etc. And also it is responsible for carrying out logical comparisons like greater than, less than, equal to, etc. Now coming towards control unit, as the name suggests, it controls all the operations, all the activities of the system. It controls all the activities of the system. It controls movement of data inside and outside the CPU. It enables the communication between registers and the ALU. and between the CPU and all input, output, and storage devices. It directs all the parts of the computer system to perform their tasks. That is, it controls all the activities which are going inside the system. It communicates between these parts which are interrelated with each other. It also communicates between these parts. It also directs all parts of the system which are interrelated to perform their tasks. Now, dear students, coming towards registers. What registers are? Registers are small high speed memory units. These are small memory units. And these units hold the data and the information on which the CPU is currently working. That means the data, the information, the instructions on which the CPU is currently working, those are stored in registers, and that is why it is used to store instructions on temporary basis. Dear students, now output. When we process data, we get the result. This result, we call it information or we call it output. That means it is the processed data, the data which we get after processing and which is given by the computer after processing. It is also called result or information, and we can save these results in storage devices for further use. Whenever we want to access these results, whenever we want to access this information, we can access that by storing these informations, these results in the storage devices anytime, dear students. Now we have seen output, we get information, we get result that we call output. But devices through which we receive output is given to the external environment. Those are called output devices. The devices that provide the output to the external environment. For example, we have monitor, which is also called visual display unit. Output is displayed there. Dear students, we have plotter. Dear students, we have printer. Dear students, we have headphones, just like we can hear only audios. Those are the examples of output devices. Dear students, now these input devices I mentioned: keyboard, mouse, scanner, light pen, joystick, etc. And these output devices like monitor, printer, plotter, headphone, etc. These are called external peripheral devices. These are called external peripheral devices. Now, dear students, inshallah, I hope you would have understand this lecture, and in the next lecture I will come with these input output devices and also storage devices. Thank you very much.